welcome everybody to kind of our spring practice primer here. Is this thing on? Is that new? We've never done that before, have we? Okay. Well, you'll be happy to know this is our last press conference in our current what we used to call team room. We'll be transitioning over into the new team room here in about a week or so, and we'll handle all the press conferences over there, in addition to having a nice facility to be able to comfortably sit 300-pounders, in a tiered level, to where when we show them film, the guys in the back of the room can watch the film and learn appropriately. I just went and told Mike Joseph to turn down the music so you guys could hear me. I guess that's why the speakers are up here, but we're not going to have to do that anymore. And pretty excited about the new room. It's going to be great. It's as good as one I've seen anywhere. So our guys are going to be excited about having that facility. Y'all are going to be excited about having that facility. It's going to help us in recruiting and all the rest. The first event that we will have in there will be this Sunday. We're having a junior day, which, anytime you have 150, 200 people on campus, you need them to be able to sit comfortably to where we can explain to them all the benefits of being a Mountaineer, and it's going to grab their attention. That's one of the biggest things in recruiting is having something that grabs kids' attention. So pretty fired up about that. Current state of the team is great. We're in our 7th week of strength and conditioning. I think the mentality is awesome. There's a lot of familiar faces. There's a lot of guys that have been here for 4 and 5 years and are really in a good place right now. I can't begin to explain how satisfied I am with Mike Joseph and his staff. I think there is, Mike and his staff are as good as anybody in the country. We're lucky to have him. He just keeps getting better and better. He's the head coach of the team, in the off season. He gets to spend more time with them than we do as a coaching staff. I view Mike is important to me in this program as anybody that exists, and then his whole staff does a fantastic job. They represent our athletic department and our football team pretty good. So. Want to give a shout out. Just saw Kevin White and Mario and these guys out here running around. They're in town this week, getting ready for pro day this Friday. That's kind of Mike's his Super Bowl, so to speak. So he's getting those guys ready to go. Fired up. Those guys. I know y'all saw them at the combine. Kevin knocked it out of the park at the combine. Proud of him. Mario did well. Mark Lewinsky did extremely well. I can't wait till this Friday. We're going to have just a lot of people, high-profile NFL folks that are going to be here in town. Get to see, our guys up close and personal. Pretty fired up to see Quentin come back. Spain, I know, has been training hard, and Shaq Riddick's been training hard. Clint is going to be training hard this week to get his arm in shape to throw to those guys. He's not trying to grab anybody's attention, as y'all know. He's moved on to doing what we knew he was going to be doing for a long time. But he is in town this week to help those guys out. So Pro Day this Friday is something that we're all looking forward to. Spring practice right around the corner, starts next Sunday. We will have 3 non-padded practices. It's really very similar to what y'all saw last year. We'll have 3 non-padded practices on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then we will go on spring break. I like how this schedule works pretty good. The difference in this year and last year is the spring break is 2 weeks later. So we pushed the spring game back 2 weeks from what it was a year ago, which should help out with the weather, as we're all sick and tired of the white stuff out there. We're ready for spring. It's got I think it's 35 today and it feels great. We're looking forward to the weather probably being a little bit more beneficial to being able to get outside and get as much work as we can. But we got a lot of guys that have been going through spring practice here, the same bodies for the same few years, and we're pretty fired up about getting that thing started. Some roster changes and stuff. I know you guys are anxious to hear about some of this stuff. A couple of things with the roster, and this has kind of been brought to some people's attention. There's a couple of guys that are kind of in limbo right now. Want to wish Dustin Garrison well in his adventures and moving. I didn't force any of these guys out that I'm about to mention. These guys have kind of made decisions that they want to move on with what their future holds. But proud of Dustin and what he's given us. I recruited all these guys to come play in the Big East and came, and Dustin's had a good career here. He's going to leave with his degree. He's expressed interest in wanting to go play football. So that's something that I know he's going to do a good job of. Paul Millard came in and told me that his career here at West Virginia is over. He's going to get his degree this summer. Whether he moves on to go play football or not is something he's unsure of at this point in time. So, but I think the key is that he's graduated and he's trying to figure out what his future holds. Andrew Bowie is not on the team right now at this point. I see him all the time coming in here working academically in the back. He works with Kelly in the back. He's on schedule to get his degree this summer. Where he goes from there, I'm not quite sure. But at this point in time, he hasn't told me what he's doing at this point in time, so I'm not sure. But I do know he's on track to graduate. Keyshawn Richardson's the same way. He's on track to graduate this summer. He's not with the team right now. Whether he ends up continuing to play or not is something I'm unsure of. And then Garrett Hope is the other guy that want to congratulate him for hitting his first Grand Slam. I thought that was awesome. He's got a baseball background, as y'all know. Both his brothers are playing in the minor leagues. He's played for a long time. He tried to do this a year ago, and he was just so dang sore. He told me he'd get in a catcher's stance and he'd be stuck there for about an hour because he was so sore from the strength and conditioning that Mike was putting him through a year ago. So I made a deal with him. Let's go ahead and try baseball. We won't have any football responsibilities for you, and he's taken that and he's running with it. So I think his future in that sport is pretty cool. So other than that, we got I think we have 68 scholarship guys on campus right now. So our numbers are good. I've talked a lot about that. Our roster is healthy. We got a lot of returning guys coming back that I know are pretty fired up about being here and pretty fired up about moving forward with 2015. Staff updates. As far as who's where and who's coaching what and all that. I made reference to the team, and I believe I said this to y'all on signing day. We're in a good place. Offensively, continuity, what we're going to do, X's and O's. Been doing the same stuff for going on 5 years now, so. There's going to be small changes that you really can't see, but as far as the overall X's and O's, schematically, offensively, we're in a good place, and got a lot of coaches coming back that have been here for going on 3 years. Coach Galloway is still with the receivers. Coach Sider is still with the running backs. Ron Kruk has been doing a great job at the offensive line. So right there, 3 full-time coaches that have all been going on their 3rd year. These guys are in a much better place now with understanding personnel, understanding how I do things, understanding what the scheme is and how we game plan and all that stuff. Going on the 3rd year, lots of continuity. Those guys are in a much better place than they were a couple years ago. So. I think we're in a really good place there. As y'all know, I'm going to coach the quarterbacks. I'm going to be in the room more than I have been in the past. Had a couple of guys here, and Coach Spavital and Coach Dawson that had been around me for a long time and understood, kind of how I do things and all that. So, was very comfortable them being in the room. Brought in a graduate assistant that's been. You guys have. This is not a shock to anybody, but Michael Burchett is a bright young coach. Was here 4 years ago as a student. he attempted to play football, but just was one of those guys where it wasn't incredibly natural to him. But has been the quarterback GA for Neil Brown at Kentucky for 3 years. He understands what we do. He understands how we do things around here. He's already taken it and ran with it. Meets with the young guys a lot, and is going to be a great coach. I also got Dan Gerberry. Dan was a tight ends coach at Youngstown State last year. He's coming in. He's going to be a full-time graduate assistant, but he will have his own room. He will be coaching the tight ends, and is something that he's comfortable. He played in the NFL for a couple of years. Bright young coach. I think he's got tons of upside, and I think he's going to do a great job for us. 2 other GAs running around. We got Big Zach and Little Zach. Big Zach Huter is going to be an offensive line graduate assistant. Comes to us from Michigan State. I mean, he's the biggest person in this building now that looks like he could still be playing, but he had some shoulder surgeries, and Colicchio used to be the biggest guy running around here. Now it's our graduate assistant, Zach. And then the little Zach is Zach Motley, who's going to help us on offense as well. Defensively, for the first time in quite some time, we got a lot of the same stuff coming back. Coach Gibson's obviously going into the second year, going to coach the linebackers. Got a lot of guys on defense that have been doing the same thing for a long time now. So, Anthony Leonard is going to help him on defense. Anthony played in this defense, as y'all know. So he's like having a full-time coach, on the field. Understands everything that's supposed to be happening with the defense, and Gibby's happy to have him coming back for his second year. Our secondary coaches are all as good as anybody in the country. Coach DeForest coming back coaching the safeties, Brian Mitchell coming back coaching the corners. We got all 5 returning starters coming back, and Gibby really relies on those 2 guys to be able to do things right in the secondary. Mark Scott is a graduate assistant that's been here for, you need to remember this name because he's a bright young coach, up-and-comer in this profession, has been here for a couple of years. He's going to take on a bigger role when it comes to, helping out on defense. He's up in the box for Gibby, and Gibby trusts him, and he's coached every position on this defense. He's coached every position on this team. He's going to probably take on a little bit bigger role in special teams and help on defense as well. Andre Sexton coming back as a graduate assistant as well. Defensive line, it was probably the biggest area that we felt like we needed to address. And taking in consideration, we made tons of improvement on defense. The numbers speak for themselves, and got a lot of guys coming back on D-line, but D-line's got to get it together a little bit better than they did a year ago. That's why we brought in Bruce Tall. Y'all know Bruce. He's been here before. He's coached defense in this defense. He's coached defensive line at several different stops. He was a coordinator running this defense down at UNC Charlotte. He's a guy that Gibby really trusts. And so by being able to have him coming in, understanding what the front's supposed to be doing on every single play, every single call, I think is going to be very beneficial. He's been the D-line coach since he stepped foot on campus here seven weeks ago. And you can already see some improvement in how those guys are doing. And then Damon Cogdale will be the assistant D-line coach, who Damon needs to learn this defense, and now he can learn from some guys that have been coaching it for a long time. Special teams wise, want to congratulate Coach Bradley for moving on to being a coordinator at UCLA. I thought that was a great move for him. We appreciate his time here. We were probably going to put him into a bigger role on special teams now that position is a void. The one thing we have lots of flexibility when it comes to taking care of this position. And right now we're in the interview process. Things are in HR. Can't really mention as far as exactly who we're targeting or what we're going to do with it. I will say this with special teams, and I've already told this with the team, is we're not going to change much. Okay, we just need to get better. We just need to improve. And that's not just special teams. That's on all 3 sides of the ball. That's what spring practice is for. Our guys are going to know what to do. They're going to understand what to do. On punt team, punt return, kickoff return, PAT field goal. They're going to know what to do. There's nothing wrong with the schemes that we run. We just got to improve on it. And I think the biggest thing that really stands out that we addressed towards the end of the year and got a lot better at it is fielding punts and eliminating the big play in the kicking game. If there's four returns for touchdowns that are glaring, we need to eliminate the big play, and that's something that we're going to focus hard on this spring. Okay, as far as our guys, I just a quick rundown as far as positionally where we're at. Everybody wants to talk about the quarterbacks. Probably going to get a few more questions about this. Right now, Skyler's running with the ones. He's the one that understands what to do. We got 3 freshmen behind him. All 3 are very promising. Can't wait to get out there and start working with these 3 guys. But Chugs and Crest and Sills are all 3, great-looking guys that got loads of potential, but we just got to coach them. So until I can get out there and start coaching them and get my hands on them, we don't know where they're going to be. So all 4 of them are going to rep. Skyler's the one that obviously, just because of the whole year and he got under his belt, started a few games, he runs things much better. So those guys, Skyler's the starting point. Then those other 3, Austin Hensley's another guy that's got 4 years of eligibility that we're excited to have on the team. He looks about the same as the other 3 guys. So can't wait to coach those guys. Can't wait to see what they can do, put them in situations and see how they develop. Running back wise, got a lot of depth still. Even with losing a couple of guys, got tons of depth. Shell and Smallwood, both extremely productive as sophomores. Still young. Gonna keep getting better and better. Dante Thomas Williams looks great. He's a young guy that's talented, that was highly recruited, and can't wait to see what he can do. We're going to use Eli Wellman more as a back than probably we did last year. Probably did too many things with him as far as having him be a slot, a tight end, and all that stuff. He's going to play running back. And with those 4 guys, we feel like we got 4 guys that can all do a lot, and we'll continue to see how those guys develop. Tight end wise, Cody's coming back as a 5th-year senior, played a lot of ball, one of the best football players on our team. We did move Darren Arndt there, who's a 5th-year senior, real smart guy, looks like a tight end. Hasn't played much, but will give us a body right there. And then we moved Michael Ferns there, who's got loads of talent. Obviously going to have to sit because he's transferring in, but will be able to give us a bunch of reps in the spring to be able to continue to be able to schematically do that stuff with some tight ends. Receiver-wise, got 2 big holes to fill, with Kevin and Mario. To put things in perspective, they had 50% of our catches and about 50% of our production. So we still got guys that have played ball. If you look at where we were 2 years ago when we lost, Stedman and Tavon and all those guys accounted for 98% of our production. Having guys like Jordan Thompson, DeKeel Shorts, Vernon Davis, Shelton Gibson, we got KJ Myers, we got guys that have played ball. We got guys that have made played in games. So although we have 2 huge voids on the outside, guys that stretched the field, made a lot of plays, it's a far cry from where we were 2 years ago when dang near 100% of our production was gone. So got some guys that have experience. Devontae Mathis is another guy that has got experience. So got guys that have experience. We just got to see who steps up. We need 2 guys on the outside that can stretch the field, and whether it's that or whether it's with the guys that we recruited to come in, which we got 3 pretty good bodies there. They're all going to have chances, and we're going to see who steps up and takes control of that. Offensive line-wise, we got 18 bodies, 15 bodies in spring. We added, 4 more that will be coming in June. So we got a lot of depth there. 3 returning starters gives us something to start with. We've moved Adam Pankey from tackle to guard, much like we did Spain when Spain moved into his junior year. Adam looks great there. With Tyler Orlowski and Pankey, both having, a lot of experience under their belt, that's something to start with right there. And then Marquise Lucas going into his 5th year, returning starter. We got 3 guys coming back, and we just need guys to step up, and we will evaluate those guys and see where we're at. Specialist real quick on, you got all the guys coming back. You got Josh Lambert, who's made a bunch of plays with us. You know, Nick O'Toole has been back there a bunch. The most underrated guy of the bunch is John DePalma, who's going in to his junior year. No, I'm sorry, going into his senior year. Nobody knows who he is because he never screws up. You know, you find out who that snapper is when you don't have one. You find out who that snapper is when he's launching them over their head. But he's as consistent of a deep snapper as I've seen. A couple of young guys, and Billy Kinney and Mike Molina are pushing for a role. Can't wait to watch how that plays out here. You know, the returners, Mario being an All-American return guy, we got a void there. We expect Shelton Gibson to take that over. Wendell Smallwood can be a kickoff return guy, has done it in the past. Got guys on our team, you know, maybe Daryl Worley back there, maybe KJ Dillon back there, it may be some of the new kids that we recruited to be back there. But, you know, got some guys. That's why we got spring. You know, they'll be catching a ton of punts and a ton of kicks, and we'll see who steps up to be that other guy. Defensively, you know, I think when you look at the roster with everybody coming back, the one thing that stands out to me is the depth at linebacker, you know, and the guys that have as many starts as they do. Kwiatkowski started games, Isaiah Bruce, Shaq Petaway. Those guys have started a lot for us, and then you bring in, you have Jared Barber that comes in and fills that role that Tonkery had with as many games as he started. I think we're in a great spot with the linebackers. We're going to put Barber at Mike and move Kwiatkowski out to where Tonkery was at Sam. Okay, so he's comfortable there. Barber's really comfortable at Mike. He can run this defense in his sleep. Has been here for a long time and has got a bunch of experience. And you got a lot of other guys. We're about 4 deep at linebacker. Yeah, so who the younger guys are that step up is going to be fun to watch as well. Secondary wise, when you got all 5 guys coming back, that puts you in a pretty good spot. The only injury things that I have, Daryl Worley had shoulder surgery in January. He'll miss spring and be cleared full go in June. And Jared Harper had shoulder surgery as well, so he'll be out for spring, and we'll be back full time with the team in June. Those are the only 2 guys that are out. So I think we're pretty healthy, and we're in a pretty good place when it comes to that. But even with Daryl not being there in the spring and Jared not being in the spring, with Carl, KJ, Drayvon, Chestnut, those guys have played a lot of ball for us, and you know, now it's just about the young guys kind of stepping up and getting them a bunch of reps to see who develops, to create as much depth as we can. And then D-line wise, you know, I think that thing's probably spearheaded by Kyle Rose at nose. Started a lot. You got Christian Brown and Noble. Nawakachu, close? Anybody got a better can pronounce it better? Those 3 guys have, you know, going into their senior year, Noble and Christian going into their junior year, we got depth at that point. So we got guys that have played a lot, and we got guys that are in a pretty good place. So that's my rundown. You know, like I said, I think we're in a pretty good spot with depth and moving forward. So at this point, I will open it up to some questions. The only other thing with spring, you know, and you guys will get to see that first Sunday. This Sunday you come at 5:30, get to see the first 30 minutes or so, and then after spring break is over, we're doing things like we did last year. Okay, I thought it really worked out for us well last year in taking the team to 2 different parts of the state, and in Wheeling and Charleston last year. Wanted to continue to move it around. And y'all will be able to see all 4 of these practices that we have. The first one will be in Shepherdstown. Shepherd University is gracious enough to let us use their facilities on Saturday, April 4th. So we'll head over to the Eastern Panhandle. We'll have a 1100 Club event, you know, a MAC event after spring. But get the guys up in the morning and let them, you know, we'll travel over there and let them see the Eastern Panhandle, and then have a practice. Y'all be able to see the whole thing. Then come back. The next week in April 11th here in Morgantown, we have our coaches clinic, which is always you know, bringing a lot of high school coaches in. We're bringing about 5 in from different parts of the country to be able to speak. And then, have as many as we can get here, and then y'all be able to watch that practice on that Saturday as well. The next weekend, April 17th and 18th, we're going to go down to the Greenbrier. This is going to be a pretty fun weekend. WVU Cancer Center is having their 30th year cancer gala. West Virginia University's Mary Bab Randolph Cancer Center is going to go down to try to raise a bunch of money for obviously what is good. It's still a work in progress as far as what we're actually going to be doing with the schedule, but we're anticipating practicing on Friday afternoon, anticipating practicing on Saturday. That Saturday will be open for y'all to watch, but there's a lot of good things that are going to be happening down there that weekend. It's, we're just trying to help probably bring as much awareness to the WVU Cancer Center and that gala down there. I know Coach Huggs is going down. Congratulations to Coach Huggs, by the way, for his Big 12 Coach of the Year honor. Obviously, he's extremely deserving. But as y'all know, the cancer stuff is pretty important to Coach Huggs, and he's got his own foundation and the Norma May Huggins cancer research stuff. So he's going to be down there. I know he's going to be having an event on Friday. We're both going to be doing a chalk talk on Saturday morning. So it should be a fun weekend at the Greenbrier, for not only WVU Cancer Center, but for WVU Athletics as well. A lot of stuff. Foundation's doing a lot of stuff down there that we're trying to support as much as we possibly can. There's NCAA rules and regulations as far as some of the stuff that we can do with the team, but I know the team's excited about traveling down and getting to see the southern part of the state, which is I don't know how many of the guys on our team have actually been to the Greenbrier. I doubt very many, so I know they're fired up about that. And then the spring will conclude. April 25th, we'll have our spring game right out here as we normally do. Don't know what the format of that's going to be. We do have enough numbers to break it up into two teams. We may do that this year. We'll see how the injury situation is at that point in time. So that's what I got. Who's got questions? A lot of information.
Dave, so to clarify, you have one full-time coaching position you have not filled yet, and that's
Correct.
probably going to be special teams?
Yeah, like I say, I got some flexibility with that. I really, I got everything covered at this point in time. So, and again, we have one of the better special teams coaches across the country, widely regarded as one of the better special teams coaches in the country, and Coach DeForest. So, he's doing so much on defense. We're trying to get him some help. So, we got some flexibility with that. I don't know exactly where we're going to head with it at this point in time.
And what's the positive and negative of you spending more time with the quarterbacks? We've kind of gone through, obviously, more time there. Does that take away from something else that you would like to do?
Not really. Coach Burchett is going to do a great job with these guys. I mean, he's understands what we're trying to do. I mean, he was here. He'll be able to do a lot of the drills. That's the only thing I can't do. I can't spend that 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, drilling the quarterbacks when I got all the special team stuff going on. And, I use that time to be able to walk around to the different areas and kind of watch some of the other people. So I have a hard time justifying me doing that. I'm going to be sitting in the meetings regardless. I sat in a lot of the quarterback meetings in the past. If I wasn't in there, I'd be in the receiver meeting or maybe a defensive meeting or an offensive line meeting. I feel like every coach that we have on our team, every area that we have on our team are in a very good place because they understand what we're trying to get done. So if I'm not in there with the quarterbacks, I don't know where I'd be. I'd be in. Maybe I'd go back with Coach Dorchester and talk some recruiting or something like that. So that to me is easy because that meeting time I'm going to be in anyway. I'm going to be in all the offensive meetings full time anyway. Have been for 5 years. The only thing I can't do is take that time to drill them. So Mike will be able to do that, and he knows what he's doing with that. So I think it's a plus everywhere. I wasn't going to go outside and hire somebody to do it full time. If they didn't know exactly how I wanted it done. It's just the way I've always been. Coach Spav knew how to do it. Coach Dawson knew how to do it. So I felt very comfortable turning them over to them without having somebody that I that I knew like that, I wasn't going to do it, and never will.
Dana, can you give us an update on each of the quarterbacks and where they stand right now?
Well, like I said, Mitch Schuyler's the one that knows the most right now. I mean, he's played the most. He knows the most. He's going into his junior year. He started junior college for a year. He started a couple games for us last year. Played a big role in 3 of the games last year. So he knows things. He knows it, and he's still pretty raw. So he's going to continue to get better and better. But he knows it the most. William has the next most experience. And again, what I've seen out of him right now is obviously very limited. We can sit in a room and meet with them for 2 hours. We can watch the off-season strength and conditioning stuff. I will say this: David Sills may be the most athletic guy on our team, and you can see that with the different drills, him running and cutting and changing directions and all that. We know William is an incredibly athletic guy. Schuyler is a fierce competitor. I mean, he tries to win every single drill that he tries. Chugs is a little less athletic, but is probably absorbed the offense quicker, and you can just tell by the questions you ask him. That dude is pretty bright. So until I can put a ball in their hands and watch the drills and see them execute, I don't know where they stand. All I know is what's going on up here. And he's good. He looks great. Yeah, I told him he better quit lifting or he's going to be a dang linebacker. I mean, he looks great and is athletic. And again, as far as how they process things, how the ball comes out of their hands, the accuracy that they throw with, the way they can run a huddle, I don't know, because we haven't been able to do that yet.
Dana, will you be able to come out of the spring, you think, with a quarterback that's named the starter, or? That's
up to them. I mean, that's up to them. I name them when I feel good about naming them. And for instance, last year we evaluated the quarterbacks all through spring. 2 years ago we did the same thing and nobody took hold of it, so we didn't name it. And then when Clint came back in the summertime, you saw how he just took control of things, and I'm like, that's our starter. So that's up to them. They got to show us that they're ready, and then they got to prove it. There's going to be a lot of snaps in spring that give them opportunities to prove it. We all want a starting quarterback, yes.
With you guys, wide receiver seems like one of the bigger questions offensively. Would you ever consider moving one of the more experienced guys to the outside, Jordan or DeKeel?
Oh, I think they're inside for a reason. I mean, you got to have guys that can stretch the field, and those guys are so good inside, but we moved them inside for a reason. So I think they're pretty solid inside, but every other guy that's on our roster has been moved outside. So we'll have Myers, Mathis, Davis, Gibson, Rogers, Parker, Marcellus. We got all those guys that can move outside, and all the guys that we recruited are outside. So you're looking at 8, 9, 10 bodies that we need to develop to find guys that can do that. I can tell you right now, Shelton can stretch the field. Y'all saw that in the bowl game. I mean, he's one of the faster kids that we got. So all those guys are going to get a chance, and whoever takes control of it will, get the guys that get the ball.
Were you surprised, as everyone else seemed to be, by the time that Kevin White threw up there?
Yeah, I was. I think we looked at him as he's so big and physical, and he high points the ball so well, which is what then grabbed the attention of the NFL. He did all that so well, we just didn't think about the fact that he could actually run, because all that other stuff really just stood out, But when I was watching it, after about the first 15 yards, I go, whoa, and was obviously proud of him. He's like, what's the big deal? I don't know. He goes, I don't understand why you guys didn't think I could run. But yeah, I was surprised, but I think it's just because we just saw those other physical skills as being that much more dominant.
Dana, you mentioned the move of Pankey inside to guard. leaves you, obviously with the hole at tackle, you got a couple guys, you like what you.
Got a lot of bodies. You know, you got about 6 subs. You got 5 bodies. You got Marquise Lucas. You have Marcel Lazard. You have Yadni Kajusti. You have Russell Houghton James, and you have Sylvester Towns. So you got 5. You know, and you know we'll evaluate those. That's more than I've ever had in the spring. Those 5. Yeah, we can always move Panky back out. I mean that's something that could happen. We talked about that with Spain a lot, being you know Spain's a better guard. I think Panky's gonna be a better guard because he's big and he's physical and he can come downhill and he can bend and come off the ball. You know, so got a need there at guard for him, so we moved him and see how those other guys develop.
The injuries to Worley and Harper, were those things they were dealing with last season and just played through it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's typically what happens with shoulders. I mean, you get small tears, and that's not, you know, that's not like tearing a cartilage in your knee. You know, the shoulders are a little bit different. It's a little bit more painful. So, you know, they had to kind of fight through that, and they did. And then we got an opportunity to fix them. You fix them, they miss spring. It's okay because they got a lot of experience anyway. And then you get them back healthy for summer to get all strong prior to camp.
Any update on Kyle Bosch? Is he still going through the process?
Yeah, the waiver's been filed. You know, that's all we can do is file the waiver, and it's been filed. So we'll hopefully hear something here pretty quick.
How do you, this spring, take Russell Shell from where he is and get him to the elite running back status that you obviously believe he could have?
Just reps. You know, I mean his strength and conditioning wise should be in a much better place now than he was a year ago. So, you know, just by him continuing to get, you know, in as great a shape as he possibly can and develop the mentality that he's the man. Going into spring, going into camp last year, he wasn't the man. You know, and then kind of, you know, made his mark in camp. So, you know, he can be more confident. He can be more, you know, more dominating because he's in better shape. I think he's well on his way to do that.
And you had the wealth of running backs last year. 3 is still a good number, but you look for more. I don't know where you find them because you don't have a whole bunch more. Is that
Right.
a big change for you, 3 to 5?
Well, as long as you stay healthy, you're in great shape. I mean, the thing you worry about at running back is injuries depleting that position, because that's a very physical position. That's a hard position to play. You know, the 4th and 5th team guy last year, you know, wish they would have had more carries. Wish they would have had more time. You know, so that's what you got to struggle with. You know, having 4 and 5 guys and 4 and 5 guys not being very happy because there's just not enough carries to go around. But then having the depth in case something happens. That's why Eli is pretty important, because he's a physical kid. He's a strong kid that can you know, man that 4th team running back spot and can do everything. I mean, we can do absolutely everything with him as a 4th teamer. You know, and then use him as a blocking back and special teams and all that. We're not going to be able to manufacture a Charles Sims, I doubt. You know, those are hard to come by. You know, we had a need for that at that point. Now we got returning starters, so, you know, we're losing a couple of guys that have eligibility left, and I think there's a reason for that.
What's it mean for you guys getting a guy like Barber back when you can have somebody with that experience and kind of just slot him right in?
He's a coach on the field. I mean, he sat in these meetings 5 years ago with Coach Castile, you know, so he's been here for a long time and has played a lot, and you know, was pretty valuable to us a year ago, which was basically a student coach. So, you know, him being able to come back now, I guess he's a player/coach. All right. Okay. Appreciate it, guys. Good to see everybody.